Good day. I wanted to show an example of yet another networking room. This is really a networking room for business here. They sell cars, so I can be as transparent as that. I don't want to say where I'm at. And I want to show you kind of how, another example of one of my many series of sometimes why things go wrong have nothing to do with, quote unquote computers or networks. It's the way that they're sometimes treated. And you can already tell from here how dusty it is. But give you a nice quick full view, and there's a mess. We have two unmanned switches and one man switched here, and I don't know if you can hear the HVAC is kind of loud, but one of these are whining, so the fan on the back is probably going out. I was thinking about it, the way that this looks like, and this is really typical of network rooms. And when you go to these businesses, they sell, a couple $1 million easily a year. This is what they rely on. This is the equipment that most businesses, if not all, if they have a computer, rely on. And then this is kind of how over time it's been kept. And what I find interesting is you can kind of tell the progression of the technology they've adopted over time, right? They first had this, then later on, or maybe at the same time, they had both of these. But then this patch panel was added on quite a bit later, right? It's fairly new. It's definitely a newer design. And then much, much later, as they continued to expand, they added on switches, more and more switches in order to support all of the computers they have, the routers and the servers. And you can see that type of technological progression here, right? They got their old modems, which is cute. But what I find interesting is this here, is that they had two Linksys wireless routers, right? And then this was probably, 10, 15 years ago. And then, Linksys was bought up by Cisco, and you can tell that there's a Cisco right there. So they used to then have this, my guess is, and then right now they're using this guy right here, which is neither. It's an Asus, and it's got one more antenna. Cute. So you can see how they've upgraded their wireless infrastructure. But this is what happens: you get different network engineers or network professionals who just come in here, they plug wires, maybe they're hourly or they're flat fee, so they don't care, and they just go ahead and get this done and walk away. And as long as it works when they're here, that's all they care about. But it's atrocious. It's very difficult to find what you need. And I moved a wire and I heard a sound, so that means that one of these is probably getting pulled on or has too much strain, and over time it's starting to come loose. So I'm gonna have to try and figure out what that was too. And you can take a look at this. This is really interesting here. This is a server. That's right, a server. And it is on a ledge that has clearly visible water damage. They're relying multi-million dollars on this a year, and it's just incredible that this thing is even alive. It is flashing a warning sign. I'm not quite sure specifically what this warning is referring to for the server. I have to look that up. If we go to the front here, get a better view. Now you can tell it's a server, right? And yikes. So they got 4 drives here. SAS 160 gig. But look at that baby. I mean, that is legitimate dust bunny. That's just gross. That's just gross. I'm glad I'm not dealing with that today. So if you have a network room, hey, you know what? Try and keep it a little bit nicer than this. I did notice, just as a interesting topic, is so they got the server here, and they have them plugged into this jumble of power strip, which is then plugged into any one of this one, that one, another power strip. That's a huge power strip that's just sitting on a pipe, which is plugged into up there, and then that is also, and then there's another one right up there. So you have quite a bit of power strips, and I wouldn't be surprised if 1 or 2 of these are daisy chained. But here's their there's their UPS power backup. So if this guy turns off, or they lose power, this guy turns off, he's going to turn off because the power has no fighting chance of trying to remain on if there's a power glitch or a brownout. So you know, it's interesting again how these businesses are able to survive with you know, the treatment of this equipment. You have to give it to these companies that can keep switches running for 10-15 years, and you know, they're able to handle all this dust, all this gunk and goo back and forth. Thanks for watching. If you have an example of a server room, let me know. I'd love to hear your comments. Otherwise, have a great one.